Welcome to Module 4 of Phoenix Rising. Why am I holding this cup of delicious tea? Because Module 4 is all about joy. What brings you joy? It can be something this simple. Like seriously, in that moment, what might have popped up for you? What do you love? What do you love? I'm just going to finish it right now. I love that tea. Now, I have had to go off caffeine. I was really into bulletproof coffee. You probably remember that about me because I talked about it all the time. Black tea, green tea. I had to go off that on my new diet that I'm on to see if I can heal some of the adrenal fatigue that I have had for years and years. So sometimes your pleasure has to change, right? And it took me a few weeks to find a tea that I love to drink, that I look forward to drinking as much as I used to look forward to other things. Maybe not quite as much as how much I used to look forward to the bulletproof, right? So there's always a little bit of, like figuring it out, wiggle room, like, maybe you remember like that summer of 1987 was the best, right? You can't get back there, but you can create new, beautiful summers. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this module, joy. Now, I want to say, what's the difference between happiness and joy? To me, and you might define this completely the opposite, to me, joy is that like inner knowing that things are okay, that you've got this, that you know what you like, you know what you love, you've given yourself permission to go after what you like and you love, you've started honoring yourself and your big dreams, listening to the voice of your soul, you've healed some of that old wounding, you're expressing yourself freely, you've let go of toxic relationships or laid down some good boundaries. So of course, obviously, you might get to joy right now, or you might get there for a split second. The goal is to have you living there, right? Residing inside joy that is not reliant on, like happiness is, things going exactly right. And so there are some blocks to feeling joy. One is you have your old baggage that you have not yet healed or put down or gotten over or let go of, right? We're working on that. Maybe you're living by old rules, right? That there's a right way or a perfect way to live or to go after your dreams or to be you. We're working on letting go of those and rewriting them, right? You might also feel really awful in your body. I just mentioned I'm dealing with adrenal fatigue. Turns out I also have like liver issues, which actually feels very freeing to have finally figured out because I have not been able to figure out some of my symptoms until the last week, literally. So even though I haven't actually healed anything, there's a certain amount of joy and relief and peace of mind in knowing that I have uncovered what the issue is, and now I'm starting to put into play some of the new tools that will get me to healing and feeling great in my body. So I have been in a place where I have felt terrible in my body a lot, okay? Adrenal fatigue, candida, I had chronic fatigue syndrome in my 20s, all of the emotional stuff from sexual abuse when I was growing up, bulimia, my eating disorder, just hating myself generally, right? And I know that is something that comes up for everybody, right? There's just some moment of like, or experience of, I don't like me, I don't like this, right? One of the ways to start to heal that, right, is to take on a commitment to joy. Not necessarily happiness, but to that inner knowing that you've got this handled. Now, one of the obstacles to claiming that joy, of course, is not having taken on some of the old wounds that you might carry, that you might be like, ugh, that was so long ago. You might even be dismissive of some of your old wounds. And I want to invite you now, right now, like in this program, to really just let yourself kind of settle down and go, maybe I'm not fully healed from that old heartbreak, or from that disappointment, or from the way maybe I feel I let myself down, right? So this is not just about like rushing to joy. It's about joy is over here, you're over here, and what is the road you're going to travel? What's the process you're going to go through? What are the tools you're going to employ to get to joy? Now, it could be like a delicious cup of tea. It could be, I had a client who, she kept getting this message whenever we did a visualization. We would do these inner child visualizations with her. And whenever she did a visualization, it was like, oh, I'm here to bring joy. Joy was the word for her. And this woman was so far from joy. So far from joy. She was exhausted all the time. She had some physical symptoms. She was not she had no boundaries. She actually had a belief that if she did what she wanted to do and what was best for her, that she would lose all of her friends and her boyfriend, and her mother would never talk to her again. That was the belief that she uncovered, right? And we'll get more in depth with that kind of codependency and those like deep rooted inner beliefs when we get to the boundary setting, because they're all going to come up when we start talking about boundaries. And when we start asking you to set boundaries, all of that codependent stuff is going to rise to the surface, which is good because then we get to see it and clear it, right? But so she had this block. She had disordered eating. She was overworking. She was being underpaid for her work. She was not pursuing her biggest artistic dreams. And so we started to play with, all right, what brings you joy? So the first assignment that I'm going to give you guys here in Module 4, which is about getting you to joy, or what I call a lifetime of joie. Doesn't joie sound just more bubbly and spirited? Joie, a lifetime of joie, right? So how to get you to joy. So I want you to write down a list of 10 things that you like to do. 10 things that you like doing. Then I want you to write a second list, which is 10 things that you feel better after having done. So the first list is 10 things you just really like doing. You love doing them. They're fun. They bring you joy and happiness. It's just enjoyable. You just like them. They're pleasurable, perhaps even, to use that very potent word. But then there's a separate list of 10 things that you feel better after doing. That's like organizing your desk, taking a shower when you're tired. I don't know what it'll be for you. I took a bath this morning, right? I was like so tired. I'm like, wait, I'm going to be recording a video on joie. What? I got to get some joie, right? So I was feeling tired in my body because of the health issues I'm dealing with, right? And so I took a bath, Epsom salts, and in fact, I did not enjoy it the first few minutes I was in the bath because I was like all like in my head. I got work to do, just feeling all like jangled in my body, right? So healing your body and getting in your body are great tools. So I got in the bath. I finally relaxed. I had my Epsom salts. I did my dry brushing. Do you know that? Which is like a detox, right? It stimulates the whole lymphatic system. And then I made my tea. I danced a little in the kitchen, right? Body stuff, right? What's pleasurable? What can bring you joy? And so now I'm at this place where I feel pretty good. My body's still tired, but I feel like I'm enjoying. I actually love shooting videos, so that's something that I love to do, and I feel better after doing them. So, okay, back to my client. So she kept getting the message intuitively, like joy. I need to be bringing joy and creating joy. So she said at one point, she's like, I think I took like 40 fucking baths before I got sick of it and forced myself to come up with something else that brought me joy. So she started off by taking baths, right? Like I did today. And the thing that was cool was that by taking the bath for me, it led to some other self-care, led to some creative ideas, led to some dancing, led to me actually doing something productive, right? So this is not just separate from the things that you're trying to get done. This is a pathway to getting the results that you're after in your whole life, all right? Health, well-being, love, sex, money, creative expression, exercise, cleaning your house. It's all here in this module. So my client got sick of taking baths. She'd done it for like a couple of months. And she's like, all right, well, what else do I like? And she really struggled, and you might too. She came up with 2 more things she liked doing that brought her joy. One was looking out the window. She really liked looking out the window. So she would just sit and like give herself permission to look out the window. And the second thing she discovered, she loved looking through catalogs. So she started to like leaf through catalogs. Sounds tiny, right? I don't know, maybe yours are like, oh my God, I'm finally going to go ziplining, right? I'm finally going to do the big thing. I'm going to go to the spa for the weekend. It could be that, or it could be something really small. So you need to listen to yourself about this, all right? Then 6 months in, I think, maybe it was even 9 months into us working together, she tells me something that I did not know. She says, you know, I have a grand piano that came with this apartment that I have never played, and I love to play the piano. And she, after 40 baths and then gazing out the window and leafing through catalogs, 6 to 9 months later was like, wait a second, I can sit down and play the piano when I get home from work before I start cooking dinner and dealing with like house stuff. And she every day was sitting down and playing the piano for like 15 minutes, and she felt phenomenal. And she said she came to me for a whole host of reasons, but she said that this was the biggest result that she got from our time together. So I don't want you to discount joy, okay? Joie, the bubbling up of joie. And again, knowing that you're in the right place, living your right life, taking care of yourself, you can trust yourself, you're healing your old wounds, and that you're discovering what you like, what you love to do, and then giving yourself permission to do those things. So, what's your homework? You could just start like, oh, I know I love these things. Let me go do them. You could also start with those two lists. What are the things that I love to do? And what are the things that I feel better after doing? Okay, so that's your homework for Module 4, Joie.